A sunset booze cruise along the majestic Zambezi River. Drinks flow as tourists from around the world take in the local wildlife and watch the sun setting over the mouth of the Victoria Falls. This boat is filled with visitors from Russia, Japan, the United Kingdom and France. Chatting to them, they say they were slightly apprehensive about taking a trip to Zimbabwe, but say since they've been here, they felt nothing but warmth and impeccable hospitality. But it hasn't always been this way.
The tourism industry has been under a tremendous amount of pressure. Obviously, there's been a lot of very poor publicity for us internationally, and it's been a very difficult 10 years for everybody concerned.
There is a small turnaround, but just how much, and will it sustain those who've struggled through Zimbabwe's troubled times?
If I had to say gut feel, we're certainly nowhere near where we were 10 years ago. You know, just a little increase in business, even if we get back to 20% or 30% or 40% of what we were, is good news for us.
The optimism is contagious. At Victoria Falls' most popular restaurant, the Boma, a full house of tourists enjoys traditional dancing. A five-star menu including eland, ostrich and warthog, and so-called magic beverages concocted by the Boma's very own in-house witch doctor. The prime attraction is the busiest it's been in years.
As one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, Victoria Falls has the potential to turn Zimbabwe back into what it once was, a prime tourism destination in Africa. Unfortunately, what's happening at the moment is that a lot of these tourists are flying into the Victoria Falls airport on the Zimbabwean side and then heading across to Zambia to spend their money.
Security at the entrance to the Victoria Falls tells me they get about 200 visitors per day. The World Travel and Tourism Council says that the sector may grow by about 9% in 2010. Local tourism operators in the falls estimate that so far they've regained about a third of their business. How much would you say that Livingstone benefited from Zimbabwe's demise here in the Vic Falls?
Hugely, because I was in national parks here in the early 80s, and Livingstone was absolutely dead. I mean, there was one hotel, Mosier Tunya Hotel, and Vic Falls was just starting to pick up in the mid-80s, and obviously in the 90s it was booming. I mean, you couldn't get a bed here, and Livingstone was still quiet. There were a couple of upmarket safari camps along the river, upstream of the falls, and then in 2000 the whole thing turned around. And hotels, I mean, there's a huge amount of hotels that have gone up there. But it's very expensive on that side, and I think when things pick up here, it's going to reverse.
Chris, would you say that business is booming here in the Victoria Falls?
Definitely not. I mean, Vic Falls is a bit like a micro sort of climate, because you have direct flights into Vic Falls Airport from Joburg. So occupancies, especially during the school holidays, South African school holidays, European school holidays, are very good. So we have peaks and troughs.
To get an idea of what's happening in the rest of the country, we travel about an hour south back into Zimbabwe and check into the Hwange Safari Lodge. Well, this is our room at the Hwange Safari Lodge. It's one of the most beautiful and famous hotels located in the heart of Zimbabwe's Hwange National Park. It's a Saturday night, and we found out while we were checking in that this is only one of 4 occupied rooms at the hotel this evening. 10 years ago, it was difficult to get a table in the evenings in the main dining hall. And outside, where a feast of game gathered to pose and sup at the spotlit waterhole, the only other sign of life along the viewing platform is the mess left behind by baboons.
It is so beautiful, but we are literally the only people here to enjoy it.
If you could have a tete-a-tete with some of the political bigwigs from the Government of National Unity, what would you ask them to do to make your life as a tour operator a little bit easier?
Zimbabweans are very friendly people. I would say to get the airlines going again, bringing in the circuits like Kariba. Kariba's left off the tourist map at the moment, which is devastating. The visa situation, dropping the visas, and a little bit of PR training at border posts and roadblocks would go a long way. Guaranteeing fuel all the time.
During the day in Hwange, 100 empty rooms overlook manicured lawns and sparkling pools. But at the moment, hotel staff vastly outnumber the guests.
The great thing about Zimbabwe is that it's small, so it's easy to get around, and most of our highways are still in very, very good condition. And the most important thing are the people. They are welcoming and friendly. The most important thing is the people. You'll always get a smile.
Robin Creel, E! News, Zimbabwe.